I've often heard it said in our day that if there weren't double standards, there'd be no standards at all. And that applies especially to what I'm going to be talking about here in this video over the next few minutes. This new app called T has been making headlines lately. It's an app that's for women only, and the purpose of T, it's like, spill the tea, give me the tea. That's the reference there. And you go on, and you're on there with a bunch of other women, and you just talk about men that you've dated, or that you're thinking about dating, and if these men are any good or not, if they're just bastards, or if they just use problematic language, and what have you, or if they're just incels, and you don't want to give them any further notice, and just want to make fun of them together for being incels. This, as I understand it, is basically what the app is about. And the frightening thing is that while the app supposedly protects your anonymity, although that has not, as we've seen lately, I'll get to this in a second, that has proven not to be the case. A lot of the people who have joined this app, and I think at one time it was the fastest growing app that was out there, but a lot of them have been exposed, as it turns out. But they thought they were getting on anonymously, but talk about double standards. They're not talking anonymously about any of the guys that they talk about. So I would really like to infiltrate this app and see what's going on. I'm actually pretty curious. But from what I get, it's like, hey girls, I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and there's this guy named Kevin Johnson who lives on the South Side, and he's a totally insensitive jerk, and you should stay away from him. He's very problematic. And then some other girl gets on and says, yeah, I heard bad things about him too. And I just think it more or less becomes a bitch session. And they can say they can make allegations. You can only imagine the kind of allegations that are being made. They don't have to prove anything. They don't have to demonstrate that whatever they're alleging is true or not. They can just say it, and other people get on there and read it, and so you very likely have men getting slandered for ostensible behavior that they may or may not have engaged in. Or there's certainly more to the story in any case. So talk about, if the word problematic were used properly, talk about problematic. I don't see how this app should have ever been given the green light. Because again, just imagine a bunch of guys starting an app like this and saying, I live in Columbus, Ohio, and this girl named Katie Wilson, who's a sophomore at Ohio State, is a total bitch. And then others get on and say, yeah, I know, she is absolutely, and they might say worse things about her, and on and on from there. Boy, that would be like, oh, this is the bastion of toxic masculinity. Oh, this is awful. We can't tolerate this. But when women do it, it's okay. It's unbelievable. It's just it's not unbelievable because it's what we're used to. It's what we're familiar with. But if you look at it objectively, and if we're supposed to be living in a world that treats men and women equally, and that isn't where there isn't a deeply anti-male sentiment running through much of the corporate culture, much of the prescribed culture, which of course helps to further this anti-male sentiment, helps to create more enmity between the sexes, which helps to further the depopulation agenda. That, in my mind, is really at the heart of everything that they push, everything that gets pushed on an official level, as opposed to, the counter, the backlash, which, surely always these kinds of sentiments, when you have a very anti-male society, it kicks off a backlash. You better believe it does. So what happened here was there was a data breach, and a lot of the women, maybe all of them, I'm not sure what the exact number is, but they say it's in the thousands. A bunch of women who thought they were getting on anonymously have had their pictures exposed to the world on 4chan, and have had, I think, their identities also exposed. So turnabout's fair play. That's how I would see this wrinkle in the story. This development in this story, but the mainstream media, God bless them, and I don't really mean God bless them, but it's what you say in the South when you hate somebody. So I'm just becoming a Southerner here. What is it? It's not God bless them. It's bless their hearts. Bless their hearts. They're like, this was supposed to be a safe space for women, and now these women are being exposed, and it's awful. It's just so terrible. By the way, why? I know I'm old, and I don't know much. I mean, I try to follow what's going on sometimes, and I fail to a lot of the time. I thought 4chan had been sort of shut down. Wasn't that a story a couple months ago that 4chan was exposed as being a bunch of psyops, a bunch of glowies, whether American or Israeli? But I guess 4chan's back, and they're at it again. So this site T is allowed to exist for women. Nothing similar would be allowed to exist for men. There you go. Double standard. If there weren't double standards, there would be no standards. And I'm going to also relate this to a movie that I didn't see because I didn't when I watched the preview, I realized this would really, if I saw this movie, it would really irritate me. So I'm not going to see it. But there's this new low budget movie called Oh Hi. And if you watch the preview, what it ends up being about is there's a young couple who's gone on vacation together, and they seem to be blissful, they seem to be happy, but then the girl says something like, I'm so glad you're my boyfriend, and the guy says, oh, wait a minute, I don't think of us as together like that. I just thought we were having fun. I don't think of you as my girlfriend or myself as your boyfriend. And then after that, the girl gets really upset. She ties the guy to the bed, and hijinks follow from there. And it's just sort of suggested in some way. I mean, it's supposed to be humorous, but it's suggested that in some way the girl is correct to be doing this, because this guy, obviously just led her along and when he really didn't have uh, any desire the whole time to do the honorable thing, which is to be her boyfriend. If a girl wants you to be her boyfriend, then you should become her boyfriend. And this guy didn't do that. He wasn't pursuing that. Of course, I don't approve of premarital sex or sex outside of wedlock. So in that sense, this guy, in this case, they're both doing something wrong, because it's clear that they're having sex. But anyway, so guy is bad if he quote tricks or quote gaslights a girl into making her think that they're in a relationship, when actually he's never said that they're in a relationship, and he didn't, and he even was honest when she said, you're my boyfriend now. He could have just lied and said yeah, and then after their weekend ghosted her, but he wanted to make it clear, no, I don't see us like that. And that supposedly, in some way, I know it's supposed to be humorous, but in some way justifies her holding him hostage and doing various things, basically kidnapping him, holding him there against his will, and so forth. I don't know where it all goes. I guess it probably resolves in some way that's. I hope it doesn't end with her killing him. I don't get the feeling that it's going to go quite that far, but it seems to be justifying her behavior, because or getting us to feel sympathy for her and to think of him as a cad for doing what he did. And yet I remember a movie from a few years ago called 500 Days of Summer. Y'all remember that movie? It became this big I thought when I saw it that it was just sort of a bittersweet movie about relationships and stuff. I never knew that it would be this become this battle site in the culture war. But what you have in the movie is the exact opposite. What you have in the movie is a guy who feels romantically interested in this girl, and for her, the girl, he's just kind of a fling. He's just something that they'll have fun together for maybe a little bit, and then she'll move on, and so it's the reverse of it's the very reverse of the premise of Oh Hi. But as I recall, when you hear people commenting on that movie, it's just like, oh, this guy's, he's so problematic. He's so, what's the word? I can't even think of the word right now. But this guy's, he just thinks that because he wants to be in a relationship with her, that she should want to be in a relationship with him. And so, but there's nothing wrong with her just wanting to have a fling with him. There's nothing wrong with that. Girls can do that if they want, and they should not be shamed for doing that. That's been the sort of strident kind of commentary which issues from, which inevitably you hear when people talk about this movie. And it's the same thing. It's like if in the movie Oh Hi, the girl is wrong, or the guy is wrong to have tricked her in some way into thinking that they're together, that they're a couple, when they're actually, in his mind, just sort of having a fling, going around having fun. And yes, part of that fun involves having sex, but that he doesn't want to feel tied down to her. Then why is she not a cad? Why is the female character in 500 Days of Summer not a cad for doing the exact same thing? Once again, it puts this all on display. This anti-male animus that's just being pumped through the culture, that's being pumped through the the approved institutions of the culture. If you read an article about this in the New York Times or the Washington Post or anywhere, and anywhere that's affiliated with the establishment, whether it's the establishment newspapers or the sort of off, like the leftist weeklies, like Creative Loafing that you'd find in Atlanta or whatnot. The approved way of thinking about this movie is the guy is being a jerk for getting lovesick, for getting hung up on this girl who only sees him as a fling, and that's deeply problematic on his part. But again, there's no commentary, no similar commentary in Ojai. In Ojai, the guy is a jerk because he's a cad, because he led her along, and she wants him to be her boyfriend, and he's willing to have sex with her and not be her boyfriend. It's got to be one way or the other. It's got to be both. If it works for the goose, it should work for the gander. But that's this constant double standard, and this site, this new app, the T app, is one example of it, and the difference between how these two movies are treated is yet another example of it. So there you go. Why are men becoming more and more disillusioned? Why are more and more men seeking to go their own way? Which, of course, that I'm not necessarily endorsing it. I'm not saying that everybody should get married either, but I'm not. I do believe in traditional marriage, but it's definitely not the way that the culture is leading us right now. And it's yet another sign that we should not pay attention to the dominant culture and what they try to teach us, because it's not only deeply flawed, it's deeply evil. Thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts below.